cylinder, it has to go to the first cylinder. So if this is 1, first cylinder, that would make this 8. Would go to your 8 cylinder. That would make this one 4. 4 would go to your 4 cylinder, and so on around. Generally, this is number 1 or this is number 1. That's just the way most people set the cars. On the front of your distributor and the back of your engine. This is number 1 or this is number 1. But the important thing is to note where this is pointing. Wherever this is pointing, the number 1 cylinder up, that's number 1. Take and mark this somehow, anywhere. Yellow pen, black magic marker, anything. Mark where your prong is. Now, when you put your cap on, line up one of these towers with the mark you put on there. Say this is my mark. I want one of my towers lined up with that mark, and that would make this number 1. So you stick your spark plug wire on here, run it to your number 1 cylinder, and you can write this down as a reference. This is for Chevy small blocks, 99% of them. First cylinder, second cylinder, third cylinder, fourth cylinder, fifth cylinder, sixth cylinder, seventh cylinder, eighth cylinder. And the pattern around, it goes clockwise, is 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2. It's clockwise around the distributor. So you'd want 1 to your first cylinder. Your second wire would be 8, which would go to your 8th cylinder in the back of the engine. And you basically run them just like this diagram. As I said, any of these can be 1, wherever you want to start it at. On mine, I have 1 over here. That's just the way I set my 327. Now if you follow this, you make sure your number 1 cylinder, your piston is top dead center. The air's coming out, so both valves are closed. This is when you want it to spark. It's when you want the spark plug to go kaboom and shove this back down in there. And that's when you want this thing to be pointed at one of these towers. For right now, you want to do it exactly. Get as close as you can. This is going to set your advance at 0. If you have vacuum advance, it's going to be a little bit off. And then you want to go around 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2. Now, I said 99% of the time. This is for Chevys, so for Fords this won't work. For Buicks this won't work. The other thing with Chevys is the marine motors that go in boats. I have seen the distributor, instead of spinning clockwise, spin the opposite way. So everything is backwards. But chances are you're not timing a marine engine, and I've only seen that twice in my entire life. And somebody actually bought one and put it in a Monte Carlo and could never get it timed, and we called in the block number, and it was for a marine boat, and the guy said try flipping it around, and we did. Now, once you have this on, this locks down in there. These pegs go, push down with the screwdriver, they turn in, they lock your cap on. Right here will be your coil, and then you have your coil cover over that. And you should have this, any one of them you want, lined up with the tab on your rotor. And that one is lined up with your tab on your rotor when your piston is completely top dead center. And your spark plug should spark then. If all that's lined up right, you will have it set well enough to at least run, if not run decent. Now, this cap you can turn slightly to advance or retard your timing. Now, in high performance vehicles, you want to advance them a little bit, but that is dependent on your vehicle, and I don't really want to give advice now and have people asking me for, I have a Camaro with a 350, what advance should I set on it? For that, you should look if you can actually turn this a hair of a degree and help with that. The other thing, this is the vacuum advance. Inside this little hole, you stick an Allen wrench down in there, hex wrench down in there, and turn it, there's a spring. That gives you vacuum advance. It's all hooked up under the distributor. So if you replace your distributor, want to check the timing on a car, bring your number 1 cylinder up to top dead center, all the way up. Make sure it pushes air out so you know both the valves are closed. Take the spark plug out of the hole, put your finger over it, blows air past your finger. Use your wire or dowel or whatever to make sure it comes up to the top. When it starts going right back down, stop. Turn it back a little bit if you want, otherwise just remember it's a little bit down. Take your cap off your distributor, see where this is pointing, and it should be lined up with one of these guys. If not, you can move your cap a little bit. If you can't move your cap and it's so far off, say it's all the way over here, and this is your wire going to your number 1 cylinder, but your number 1 top dead center is here, you can take the wires off and move them all over one. It just has to go with the 1, 8, 4, 3, 6, 5, 7, 2 all the way around. You can start one anywhere you need. I've seen people put in their cars and use special spark plug wires, braided wires or what have you, and have to run one all the way back here to make it look decent so you don't have a lot of overhang. But just remember, it has to go in this order around. And this is how your cylinders are for Chevy small blocks. 305, 327, 350. In a blue moon somewhere, you may come across a marine engine, which is actually backwards. Which is why I'm talking about it. You should wonder why this isn't 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, back to 1, 2. Well, as I told you, one of these opens up to let the air in and gas in, then it closes, it sparks, and then the other one opens up to let the exhaust out. You have a cam and a crankshaft inside your engine. These things sit on lifters and such. I'm not going to get technical about that, but controls when these opens and closes. So while number 1 is firing, number 8 is sucking in air, number 4 is exhausting it. So when 8 fires, number 4 has took in the air and gas mixture, and when it fires, 3 has took in, 6 has took it in, and all the way around. So each one of these has to take in the air and gas mixture, and then explode it, and then push it out the exhaust. So it can't go 1, 2, 3 right in order. It's all hooked up to a timing system, which is why your timing is so important. But this should set your timing relatively about 0.